Yes. So he had got a double LD. He was awarded an honorary double LD of canon law and civil law from the University of Edinburgh, 1889. It's a doctorate. In 1838, Sayyid Ahmad entered the services of East India Company and went on to become a judge at a small causes court in 1867. And retiring in 1876 during the Indian Rebellion of 1857. During the Indian Rebellion, that Indian revolts of 1857, he remained loyal to the British Raj and was noted for his actions in saving European Queen's life. Rather, European lives. After the rebellion, he penned the booklet The Causes of Indian Mutiny, a daring critic at the time of British policies that he blamed for causing the revolt. Believing that future of Muslims was threatened by the rigidity of their orthodox law. Then Sir Syed Ahmad Khan started promoting Western style scientific education, founding modern schools, journals, organizing Islamic entrepreneurs to come ahead. Then in 1859 he established a Gulshan school at Muradabad. Okay. It's an state in Uttar Pradesh, UP. Gulshan School. Victoria School at Ghazipur. Victoria School VS is a boys' state secondary school at Siglap Link in Bedo, Eastern Region, Singapore. Established in 1876, it is Singapore's second oldest state secondary school and has 4 previous locations. One is depicted on the Singapore $2 banknotes. So he opened that school at Ghazipur. Again, another town state in Uttar Pradesh. Ghazipur was the administrative headquarters of the Ghazipur district, Varanasi division. Okay. In 1863, he opened the Victoria School there. And a scientific society for Muslims in 1864. That was in Aligarh. A translation society used to translate the scientific books of English and other European languages into Urdu and Hindi. Later it became the Scientific Society of Aligarh. Imagine what not he did for the people. The whole science books he got translated into Hindi and Urdu from English and European languages for the Muslims in 1864. In 1875, he founded the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College. In 1875, Sir Syed, it was actually a primary school with the intention of taking it to college level institution, known as Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental Collegiate School. Its Urdu name was Madrasatul Ulum Musalmanan-e-Hind. The first Muslim university in South Asia. See just imagine what not he did. During his career, Syed repeatedly called upon Muslims to loyalty serve the British Raj and promote the adoption of Urdu as a lingua franca. Lingua franca is also known as a bridge language, common language, trade language, auxiliary language, vehicular language, or a link language. It's used to make communication proper. Like we talk English sometimes, but within that we use some words of Hindi. And Sir Syed criticized the Indian National Congress. He did not like the INC. At that time only, in 1885, the BJP was also there and the Congress was also there. Major two political parties along with with the Bharatiya Janata Party, founded in 1885. It was the first modern nationalist movement to emerge in the British Empire in Asia and Africa. He did not like it. He criticized them. He had a strong legacy with Pakistan among the Indian Muslims. Okay. This is what he did. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. So I gave you a lot of information. Was born in 1817. Right. He was born in 1817. I'll give you the date, 17th October. Okay. He was a very well respected man in the field of education in a Muslim community. After the revolt in 1857, the British did not encourage education among the Muslims. They had this orthodox rule, I said, they did not like Muslims. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan wanted all the set ideas to be removed through modern education. He founded the Aligarh Muslim University and helped the community to get scientific and modern education so that they would not lag behind, they will not stay behind. He also worked for the betterment of women by fighting against the Parda system and early marriage. He wanted girls to be educated and established school for both boys and girls. He challenged the rigidity that had set in the society. Like Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Dayanand Saraswati, Sir Syed also believed that any change in society was only possible through education and improvement in the position of women. All these social and religious reformers paved a new path for society to follow, to move from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge. Their contribution made the path to freedom easier for Indians. Understood? There's a lot to say about him. This Parda system he wanted to change. The girls wear that Parda, that you always have to be in that Parda. Also at house also you'll be behind the curtain. He wanted to stop all that. He wanted girls to learn, study. Okay. He wanted to reform the society of the Muslims. He wanted things to go further. So this ignorance, that people who didn't know, they were just following one rule. He opened schools for girls and boys for them to study. His motto in the University of Aligarh, I am telling you, was taught man that which he knew not. It's written in the Quran 96:5. It says that the motto of Aligarh University is taught man that which he knew not. Teaching people those who don't know the things. Okay. Teaching people those who don't know the things. Many Muslim people also called him. Many other Orthodox Sunni schools also called him, Sunni Muslims. They called him a kafir, means a disbeliever, unbeliever, non-believer, who rejects or disbelieves God. Because he was trying to do something good for them. In every town also then Muslim in village in Muslim India who issued a fatwa declaring him to be a fatwa is a opinion, Islamic law, Sharia given by qualified jurist, private individual, a judgment. Declaring him to be a kafir, unbeliever. He was also accused of having to converted to Christianity. So people he faced so many problems also, but he was actually doing it for the Muslims, for everybody. Isn't it? This was the main cause. And parda was a social and religious practice of female seclusion among women in the Muslim, and it is still there. It gives a physical segregation of the sexes and the requirement that women cover their bodies so as to cover skin and conceal them from seeing anything. We also have in India the ghumta, they say. It's called parda. It's a screen or veil practice that was inaugurated by Muslims and later adopted by various Hindus also, especially in India. It keeps a difference between women from the public observation, so that public don't see you. Okay. Hijab is different. Hijab is worn by the Muslim woman to keep away from unrelated males. Modesty is the most main thing in the Quran for both women and men. Gaze, gait, garments and genitalia. The Quran instructs Muslims to dress modestly. Okay. Now this is what is in Hindus you keep the ghumta, they cover their face, isn't it? That is the parda system. He wanted to fighting against it. Why do people need to do that? They can go around, cover their face, yes, why not? Meaning a curtain always. Practices women's mobility and behavior exhibited in India since the ancient times. It is called the Parda Nashin. Who practices Parda is called the Parda Nashin or Parda Nishan. like when she's in a parda, usually restricts her personal, social and economic activities outside her home. The usual parda is actually called the burqa. There's a yashmak, a veil to conceal the face, and the eyes may not be exposed. Parda is totally observed in Taliban Afghanistan. Whenever they are in public, they have to be in parda. Only close male family members and other women were allowed to see them out of parda. Ghungat. Hindus call them it a ghungat, right? They cover their face, or a dupatta veil is used by both Muslim and Hindu women, often when entering a religious house or worship. That is what it is all about. Okay, so we'll keep it till here. Bye bye, take care and be good and do whatever you want after your studies.